Hello, I'm Michael Coliani, Public Affairs and Media Relations Director for your Arizona Game and Fish Department. And today on Arizona Wildlife Views, black-tailed prairie dogs were once poisoned out of existence. We'll show you what Game and Fish is doing to bring them back. And later, how department volunteers and staff work together for a fall water haul, all in an effort to help wildlife. We've got these stories and so much more. Arizona Wildlife Views starts right now.
Arizona Wildlife Views is brought to you by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses and the Heritage Fund, lottery dollars working for wildlife. Some projects made possible by the Sport Fish and Wildlife Restoration Fund.
Black-tailed prairie dogs are an important and vital part of Arizona's grassland ecosystem, but they were once poisoned out of existence. Next, we'll show you how the Arizona Game and Fish Department is working hard to bring these little critters back from the brink.
So we just wrapped up day one of trapping black-tailed prairie dogs for our translocation here in southeastern Arizona. At the end of day one, we trapped 51 prairie dogs and we're moving them into our truck shells. This will help keep them out of the elements overnight, keep them off the ground from predators, and make sure they're safe and ready to go for us to continue trapping tomorrow.
All right, guys. Everybody's secure over there? Very secure. Otherwise, yeah, we're just trying to figure out coteries again at that point. It's a little open-ended.
Okay, I like it.
All right. Ready, team, break.
It's pretty early. It's about 6:15, 6:30 in the morning, so the prairie dogs haven't woken up yet. So we are setting these traps in the hopes that they wake up hungry, and they're gonna go in and set them off and we'll catch them. So we are in southeastern Arizona, nestled in between the Santa Ritas and the Whetstone Mountains, right near the town of Sonoyta. It's really great to have a good relationship with landowners across the state. We are on private property. This is the second time we've actually been able to trap from this location and use it to create other colonies in the state.
You know, these guys don't get nearly enough credit for the work that they do. They're little ecosystems and engineers on the landscape, the grasslands. It's important to conserve and protect these guys, whether people realize it or not.
They were entirely wiped out in the state by the 1960s. There was a lot of kind of misunderstanding on how important these prairie dogs are for the ecosystem. We call them ecosystem engineers because their burrows are just so important for so many other species, for water retention, for different grass growth. They just really contribute to the ecosystem as a whole, as well as being the ultimate prey species for so many predators. We have the traps numbered based on the little coterie groups that they're interacting with each other. In 2008, or a little bit before 2008, we really started, working towards reintroducing them to the state. For this translocation, we'd like to move anywhere from 60 to 100 black-tailed prairie dogs. She's like, what? So once we trap them, we bring the cages back to our processing area.
Where are you?
We're pit tagging them so we can track, you know, if we catch them 3 years from now, we'll know that they were moved from this colony at this time and you know, have an idea of how long they're living and how they're doing.
1,600.
We're weighing them and then we're sexing them.
Girl.
Female?
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Cage number 3.
And from there, we're moving them into holding cages with their family groups. Las Ciénegas National Conservation Area is mostly BLM land and also a little bit of state trust land. It's the area that we first started our reintroductions in 2008. We've got 3 colonies already in the area, and so we're looking to add a 4th.
Okay, cage number 20. You can go to 19.
2019. So right now I'm looking at where we trapped each individual on the source colony so that I can kind of recreate an exact layout of that source colony here at the release site, just to prevent, you know, any fighting and help them coexist in the way that they were before.
So we have worked with the BLM, and they came out with their backhoe and we dug burrows in the ground about 6 feet deep.
It's not as easy as, you know, you might think to get these guys set up on the landscape. We do a lot of work beforehand to prepare a colony. We dig them their own burrows because there aren't any remnant on the landscape from when they used to be here.
Here's our guy. Number 1.
Down the hole.
Yay!
We'll kind of want to watch, make sure they don't come back out. All right.
So we will put them directly down the holes, and when they come up above ground, they will want to start, I mean, their natural instinct is to start digging.
How am I missing?
And typically when an animal starts digging and making holes, they're more likely to stay where you've released them.
You know, it feels really good to be able to put these guys back where they used to be.
Well, I think it's great. You know, it's going to restore things to a natural balance. That was a relatively painless one. Prairie dogs were here historically. They're part of the system. They need to be here again.
Oh, he's huge.
He's very huge.
In the hole, man, in the hole. Ready for another one? Yeah.
It's technically fall in the high country near Heber in eastern Arizona. And even though some of the leaves are falling, volunteers with the Arizona Game and Fish Department are still hauling water, smack dab in the middle of fall.
It's not normal. We always hope that our water hauling season is right before the summer monsoon. So maybe May and June, and then into July a little bit. And then we hope when the rains come, we're done hauling water.
But the rain didn't come, at least not enough of it. So on this October day, volunteers haul water to catchments, dirt tanks, and large natural rock potholes like this one, all over Heber and Forest Lakes, west of Showlow.
We had a below average precipitation for the summer monsoons. So what happens is our dirt tanks on the forest start going dry, and the use on all of our artificial or man-made water catchments goes up. So we're seeing that now. It's been very dry, it's warm, it's probably going to be 80 degrees today. So along with that, you see more frequent use in the fall on these waters. And yeah, it looks like June out here with the amount of use that this catchment's getting today.
Volunteers with the department are definitely seeing and sensing a need.
As I came to the catchment, there was like at least 13 head of deer that was inside the catchment. And in that particular catchment, the water was a little low. And so obviously when I drove up to it, they kind of took off, but I went ahead and went up, put some water in there, and I just happened to look out around, and it seemed like they were just kind of wandering around the catchment, kind of grazing. It appeared that they were just waiting for me to leave so they can get a drink of water.
It varies, but it's been a dry summer. A lot of need for it.
But even with volunteers like Enno and Rusty handling the majority of water hauling duties, wildlife managers like Matthew Binney still have to do regular water hauls. In the fall, prime hunting season, this can be problematic.
Today I am hauling water to fill this catchment, at least with 500 gallons of water. This is the Purcell water catchment. It's one of 34 that I have in this district.
Basically what we do is very time consuming. I mean, you can see how long it took just to drive out to this, and this is just one of them. So if that's left up to the wildlife managers, it consumes a large amount of their time.
I mean, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things we do without them, and so we're very grateful that they give the time that they do. So a shout out to them. Although there are a lot of job duties we have as wildlife managers, this is a very high priority.
I know we use the term drought a lot, and we do live in the Southwest, but the reality is it's feast or famine out here. So it's good for 6 months, and it turns quick out here.
Help minimize the impacts of OHV use on wildlife and habitat by staying on designated roads and trails or in special use areas. Remember, enjoy, don't destroy.
Did you know that Arizona has more rattlesnake species than any other state in the U.S.? There are 13 species of rattlesnake in Arizona. Those encountered the most often include the western diamondback, sidewinder, Mojave, and black-tailed rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes are most active from March through October. During the spring, when you want to wander outdoors, they generally want to wander outdoors too. April is typically an active month for rattlesnakes. The snakes easily blend in with their surroundings, so a person should always be mindful of where they are placing their feet and hands. If you're hiking and encounter one, stay on the trail, but back away and give it a wide berth. And always stay on marked trails. When encountering a rattler, remember they are more concerned with being left alone. So back away and give it room. Also, dead snakes can still bite. Never handle a venomous reptile even after it's dead. Reflex strikes with injected venom can occur for several hours after death. Respecting the rattlesnake's role in Arizona's ecosystems ensures a harmonious coexistence and reduces the likelihood of a snake bite.
If you're enjoying the show, please visit our website, www.azgfd.gov.
Hello, I'm Randy Hale. I'm the owner-chef of the Manzanita Restaurant in Cornville, Arizona, and we're here at the beautiful Arizona Game and Fish Department, Page Springs Hatchery. It's also in Cornville. A beautiful setting to do what we're doing today. We're going to talk about utilizing game meat, different ways that you can do it instead of making just a hamburger or a chili or whatever. There's all sorts of ways to use different cuts of meat, the scraps, and so on, and that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to do a schnitzel. Schnitzel is a German dish where you take a cutlet of meat and pound it out very thin, you bread it, and then you pan fry it real quick. And delicious meal. It's it's a nice way to use just little small scraps that you have of venison or elk or whatever you might have there. So we'll go ahead and start. Now I've got a venison leg right here, and you can see here's the big muscle. Okay, great. You can carve that off and make some nice steaks or whatever you want to do with it, but there was a little piece of meat back here that I was able to harvest. So I'm going to use that and show you how we're going to make a schnitzel here. Let me put the meat up. Okay, so you want to get the silver skin off of it, the connective tissue. Best way to do that, I just pin it down, and I take a knife, and you have to be obviously very careful here. I pin it down with my fingers. I'll take that knife and set in there, and I just start scooting away with it. And you can see I've got that. Now that scrap right there, I wouldn't throw that out, because that's going to go great in some other dish. So I'm going to take this this piece of meat, and I want to oil it a little bit. So I'm just going to put some oil on it, because that's going to help. There we go. And then I want to use a little bit of saran wrap. And the reason I like to use the wrap, I mean, you could even use a baggie and set it inside there, but that keeps it from splattering all over the place. Not that when you're out camping that's going to be a big issue, but if you're doing this at your house, someone in your family may appreciate not splattering oil and venison or whatever all over the kitchen. The other thing that putting it in some kind of a plastic wrap does is it allows it to spread out easily, and you can keep flipping it over, and that's how I like to do it. So I'm going to take this mallet, and I'm going to start. And what you're really doing is you're just trying to shape it. What I really want is for it to grow out into a nice shape, kind of like that, where it's real thin, but it's not broken. I want to be very careful not to tear the meat. So you have to really pay attention to what you're doing. So you just want to real gently pound it, and you can kind of shape it in the direction that you want. It's much like when I do construction work and I hit a nail and it bends, and then I have to sit here and go ding, 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 like that. You want to do the same thing. I want it to go this way, so I'm going to start right here and just kind of work my way out to it, and you can see that spreads that out. So this is what I'm looking at right here, nice thin cutlet, okay? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dredge it in flour and bread it. So to do that, I'm going to have a seasoned flour, and I just put salt and pepper and a little paprika in there. I'm going to have breadcrumbs. Now I like to use seasoned Italian breadcrumbs. You could use panko, you could use just regular breadcrumbs. Whatever you like is going to work fine on that. And then you need an egg wash. How I do the egg wash is I'll just put a couple of eggs in here, and I'm going to take a utensil. I'm going to break them up and just whip it around. I like to whip it about 80 whips, about 30 seconds, you figure. And what that does is it really breaks down the fibers in that egg, and it makes it a smoother thing. If you don't, you end up with these little glummy things, and you can see different colors in there and all, but all right, so that's kind of where I want it, and I'm going to add a little bit of milk to it. So depending on how many schnitzels you're going to do, depends on how much milk and how many eggs and such you want to put. But this right here will be enough for our demonstration. Okay, so got that. I'm going to take I need to get my skillet hot. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on while I'm breading this. Let it be warming up. And you can use any oil you want. This is just a soy oil here. That works pretty well for it. You don't want to put a lot in. You're not trying to drown the schnitzel. You're just trying to put it in to where it kind of comes up, you know, halfway, 3/4 of the way on the schnitzel itself. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to plop it in the flour. So you want to get the flour all over it, okay, so there's not bare spots. I'll shake off the excess flour. I'm going to put it in the egg wash. And here you want to try to get the egg wash to quit draining on it. So I find just slapping it against the side of that is good, because that constant dripping right there, when you put it in your breadcrumbs, it's going to cause your breadcrumbs to clump up if you're cooking many of these things. So I'm going to do that, and then you can press the breadcrumbs into this, or the old Swiss chef that showed me how to do this, he said you want to really get after it. You don't want to kill it, but beat it like that, and then so you've got it nice and coated like that. So we're good to go there. Okay, you shake off the excess, and you can tell when the oil is ready by shaking the schnitzel over it, and when the little breadcrumbs fall into it, you'll see them sizzle. And there we go. That's what I'm looking for. And it doesn't take long to cook a schnitzel like this. The meat is so thin. It cooks real quick. And so you want to make sure you don't burn it, so you have to keep turning it. And what you're looking for it to be a nice golden color there. So we're almost there. Pretty good with that. Flip it over. You only want to flip it once, because what's going to happen is if you flip it several times, it's going to get greasier than it would if you just flip it once. And you want the oil to be fairly hot. Not too hot, you're not trying to scald it, but you want it to be hot enough that it's going to start frying immediately. Okay, and the bottom is getting there. You can see and you don't want to stir this too much, but you do want to stir it, because most burners will have hot spots on them where one area of flame is more and another area is less. And if you just leave it sitting like that, what you're going to find is some areas aren't cooked as much as they should be, some areas are burnt, some areas are cooked too much. And cooking a schnitzel is a real art. Trying to get it out of the pan after you've got it, you need to just slide your tongs in there and let it drain. And then I'm going to set it here for a second and just let that drain, and grab a plate. All right, now I'm going to put this on the plate, and I like to take a little lemon. And I'm going to cut a little wedge of lemon here. And it's real traditional in Germany that you would take a lemon and squeeze that lemon juice right on it. You don't need the seeds. Get rid of those. It gives it a real nice flavor. So we'll put a little piece of garnish in here so it makes it look like we know what we're doing. And if you have a gravy, some kind of a beef gravy or whatever, this is a demi-glaze. You could use beef gravy, you could use a beef stock, whatever. That also is very nice to put on it, or put it on the side of the plate where you can just cut the meat and dip it in it. And then put a little parsley on it. And there you go. It's a venison schnitzel.
That's going to do it for this edition of our show. But until next time, get out there and enjoy those Arizona wildlife views.
To subscribe to Arizona Wildlife Views magazine, which includes the Arizona Wildlife Views calendar, visit www.azgfd.gov/magazine.